Coming up, we learn just how passionate Festival volunteers are and how many potatoes it takes to feed all the Festival goers. Plus, Kevin teaches us the world of woodworking.
You know, when you walk through Festival, you smell the wood chips on the ground, you smell the fire in the distance, people are eating maple taffy. I'm drinking the caribou. I'm a big fan of the caribou drink. That gets you going. But do you have a favorite part of Festival? Is it hard to kind of pinpoint what's your favorite part?
The festival itself is a big party itself. And we meet people that we haven't seen for 20, 30 years. People we went to school with. Sometimes we hardly recognize them, or we hardly recognize each other. But it's a big party. And it's a way to promote our culture for our kids, to know where we're from, where we're going, and try to keep it going. So the culture is involved, and it's amazing when our young kids, the grandkids come, they love to come to the festival. It's a great fun for them.
2 years ago, I moved from Toronto to Winnipeg here, and one of the first things I did was go to Festival, and I was amazed at the atmosphere there, but also the music. Talk about the music scene a little bit here. Like, in all the warming tents, an incredible amount of talent that are from Winnipeg and from out of town. It just blew me away. I remember last year, Sweet Crude was a band that came in from New Orleans, and they were a Louisiana French band. And it was one of the best performances I've ever seen. So talk about the music a little bit. That's a huge part of the festival.
Absolutely. And the festival brings in people that are kind of new, you know, that type of thing. We have groups that, Barachois, for example, from the Maritimes, that were fantastic. And we were able to get them, and then they became famous, and they just came out of our price range. We couldn't get them back, basically. But it's groups like that. Adley Castille, who came for years and years, and later with his son as well. Fantastic music. The room that we work in, I remember one year with Adley Castille, the whole room was just full. The sides were packed too deep, basically, and you know, they made the parade with the chicken in the box, and people just had a great time. Just like you said, people are just amazed, and hopefully we can share that culture. You know, people say, well, why Louisiana, basically? But these were French people who were part of Canada, who moved out, and they, you know, went all over the place, mostly in Louisiana. So we see some of that, and then some of the local artists as well that people have never heard of or never seen. You know, it's out of their frame. Well, I'm not going to go to this place all the time, but if they come to the festival, they see them, then, you know, it helps our cultural, we have a very strong music, cultural aspect in Winnipeg and Manitoba that people just don't realize. So through the festival, they can taste some of that.
You know, we always go back to our roots. And we can't forget that we're very fortunate in St. Boniface to have the Festival du Voyageur, which is the biggest winter festival in Western Canada, and the world's biggest kitchen party. So, having said that, it brings all the music back, and we go way back. And the violin is a big part of the festival. To me, the violin is a great instrument. And if we go way back, the violin was always there, and it still is today. We see young, small kids come in at different stage. At different stage with the violin, and it's great. We have, being situated, we got the forks right close by. We got the rivers that meet. Then we go back from day one when the city started, at the junction of the Assiniboine and the Red, and we're right there. We're very fortunate to be in a place like this, close to the center of the world, if you want to say that, because that's where Manitoba really started, Winnipeg started.
Bienvenue à la cabane des Hivernats. Hi, I'm Barney Morin, and I'm Judge Bellumer here as a Métis freeman working at Fort Gibraltar, showing people the history that existed in 1815. A lot of people would actually sleep on the ground. I get hired on contract to come and hunt for the company, come and do some fishing for the company, but one of the most important is creating trade relationships. So because theoretically Judge Bellumer would be able to speak Indigenous languages, he would be able to help the company build relationships with the indigenous of the area. We enter the States, or what we call the States now a little bit, and then we make their way up the Red River. And so throughout history, after Louis Riel's time, Métis weren't the most popular throughout history. And so something that I take as a huge passion is trying to sort of retell history with sort of a more respective perspective towards the Métis. So as a Métis, I try to show how important they were in the fur trades. Try to show them sort of some of the physical work that would happen. So try to get them paddling, maybe singing some songs, some of the little more fun things. But then we try to show people also that it's a little more solitary. Like you're spending a lot of time here with a lot of the same guys, so it gets lonely. So we show how camaraderie is very important. I tell them my story as Georges Bellumet, the Métis Voyageur that's working for the company. And I tell them my family story, tell them about my father, and try to show them a thing or two about woodworking if I can. A lot of people, when I tell a lot of the Métis stories or the Métis perspective from 1815, a lot of people are really shocked. A lot of people haven't heard this bits of history. A lot of people, it's funny, depending on the generation, they're like, we grew up as Louis Riel as a trader. So like they're only now getting a different perspective on it. Sharing Métis stories with everyone, getting to talk to people, engage with people, understanding their perspective on what they understand about Métis heritage and the fur trade heritage, but then just getting to understand people when they open up with their dialogue as well, of the history from their area or their experience with history. It's amazing getting to understand everyone else's perspective.
Okay, so I'm curious, how many potatoes? How many bags of potatoes do you get?
We order them in 5 kg containers, and we start off at Festival with about 25 boxes of potatoes. So we're using them in the Great Hall for our lunches and dinners for mashed potatoes, and as well as our mashed potato bar. So instead of just doing poutine and fries, we do a mashed potato bar with different toppings, vegetarian, pulled pork, tortilla topping, all these things in the tents. So we're serving French or comfort food right in the tents.
And I love it too now. I guess you have that flexibility of creating new twists on tradition.
Exactly, yeah. And you look at sort of the basic ingredients and then how can you use it in different ways. So one of the ones that is quite popular is our tortilla dog. It's a tortilla hot dog. And what it is a True North hot dog, which I've experienced many times at a nice sports venue. So a nice local Winkler meat product, served on a toasty Italian ciabatta kind of roll. It's topped with tortilla meat. So we use the filling of the tortilla pie and top it on there like a chili dog. It's got bacon and some cheese and chives, and you have a tortilla hot dog. So it's kind of a spin on things, yeah.
Yeah, I won't ask how many calories are in that
Unfortunately, we don't have it listed. I hope they don't make us. But it's delicious for sure, yeah.
Well, you know what? When you visit the festival, there's always so much excitement, the music, the food, the ambiance, people happy. But take us through a day, festival day for you, Shawn, because you must be going crazy.
Well, for me and for the rest of my team, it is busy. We have to work in brigades. My wife is here more than I am, and so is Angie, because we have the restaurant and everything else. But we'll go through. We'll start lunch in the Great Hall here. We serve lunch from 11 till 2. Then we'll open. The tents are open at the same time, so we're servicing the Snow Bar, which is about 190 people, and the Pemina tent, which is about 240 people. We're either serving lunch or we're serving during the week. The school groups come through here. I mean, that's the thing about Festival. We see the bands and the night stuff, but people actually, a lot of the schools come here for school programming, learn about the French culture, heritage, and we serve them hot dogs and chips and things like that too, right?
Fun stuff.
And then we have our dinners, and on some nights, there's 4 nights on the weekends. We have Bar Gibraltar, which starting at 9, there's a big dance party inside the fort walls that we serve poutine through the windows. So it goes all day. It's a grind in the 10 days. But we have lots of staff. We have almost 60 staff that are helping us, and a great management team as well.
And then I will need probably at least 5 mashed potatoes.